Hi, my name is Michael Austin. I'm the Vice President of BYD. I was asked to talk about some evolving technologies, and these are transformative. They're changing the way we look at transportation, specifically public and personal transportation. And I'm a big advocate for more efficient systems and adaptable systems that can access all different types of fuel sources. And so I'm part of a company, BYD, that is focused on electrification of vehicles. And so the discussion that we've started really is an open discussion about concerns that the public have. These concerns we call anxieties. In fact, I call them the 5 anxieties. And I will tell you, these anxieties that we've grouped haven't changed with the adoption of new technology for over 100 years. One is range anxiety, and we'll talk about what that means. And you can order these anxieties different ways. I think the second anxiety, I'd call it technology, a change in technology anxiety. And specifically, when you're talking electrification of vehicles, the fear of battery technology or new motive force engine technologies. Charger access anxiety. So when we're talking vehicle electrification, where are you going to fuel? So fueling access. And then coupled with fueling access, how much time is it going to take? I have anxiety over how long it may take me to wait while I'm refueling the vehicle. And finally, the last anxiety I call service anxiety. Where can I get this car fixed or this new transportation mode fixed? So I want you to think about these 5 anxieties and think about the mode of transportation I would have seen prevalent in 1860. The most common mode of transportation were horse and buggy. And if you had a horse and buggy, and everybody had horse and buggies, that was the mode of transportation to go cross country. And then you see this new fangled, terrifying instrument called the Horseless Carriage. Now, first of all, if you were trying to improve your technology, you probably would have looked for a faster horse, because he only goes about 5 to 7 miles per hour. So really what you're looking for is a horse that can sustain maybe 10 or 11 miles per hour for 6 hours. So you could go at least 60 miles in your travel over 6 hours. Or you might want a horse that lives longer than 5 years and can still go 60 miles, because the horses are really only good from the time they're about 3 years old till maybe 8. So you got 5 years good time. So what you'd be looking for is a better horse. What you're not looking for is the Model T. And people were terrified of these inanimate, ugly, smoke, billowing, fangled, loud, 15 miles per hour, lightning speed vehicles, right? But I would tell you the same anxieties, the same 5 anxieties existed when you're shifting from horse and buggy to horseless. Range. Let's talk about range. Think about if you rode a horse, what was your range anxiety? Well, you had free range. In fact, you had grass growing everywhere. The sun was shining and everything, grass was growing. You could refuel anywhere. And now I'm telling you, you can't. You have to go find a moonshiner because you had alcohol-based vehicles, or a couple years later, Rockefeller helped Ford do a dual fuel system, and they introduced petroleum. Well, today you're going, well, heck, that's not a problem. I'm not anxious at all because there's a gasoline station on every corner. But that was an anxiety that people had about accessing chargers, accessing the stations, accessing a place for them to refuel. And then once they refueled, oh my gosh, I only can go 100 miles? Well, guess what? Model Ts went 100 miles. Electric vehicles today, people are complaining that it doesn't go 500 miles. Well, technology, when they shifted from horse to horseless, went from a range of going 5 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour and 100 miles. So that anxiety, I think, has been resolved with technology. It was resolved fear that was a perception. Another perception is technology anxiety, right? The horse is a friendly animal. You know all about your horse. He's so friendly. And then you've got this non-personality horseless carriage, the Model T. It's a newfangled gadget. Nobody wanted to mess with it. They didn't know how to take care of it. You were anxious. Well, that's the same anxiety people express. I don't know if the battery's going to last 8 years, right? These lithium ion or these iron phosphate batteries, you say they're going to last 20 years. Well, guess what? That technology anxiety not only has resolved itself, you've got a Model T that lasts for 15 years, twice the life of a horse. Well, now we've shifted from petroleum vehicles that have a life of about 400,000 miles to electric vehicles that have been on roads for 600,000 miles. Shenzhen taxis have been operating for 5 years and traveled more than 600,000 miles. That's unheard of in a petroleum vehicle. So while it's a perception that there's a technology risk, I will tell you, it is actually a perception that's being changed with evidence from electric vehicles. Charger or charging access anxiety, we talked about that. Grass is all over the grid. Well, guess what else is all over the grid? Electricity. So when you tell me I don't have access to a charging, well, anybody that has electricity has access to charging. And BYD vehicles are designed to accept AC, direct from the grid. That's solved the concern, well, I don't have the right charge, or don't have the right. Well, no, you do have the right. You can plug in anywhere on the grid. Any civilized location in the United States has access to electricity. So that, again, is another false perception that I don't have access. Now, the other anxiety probably is more relevant, and that is I might have to wait. Now, if I was going along in a horse and carriage, the horse might take a bite here, might take a bite there. There's very little time he's spending charging. He's opportunity fueling as he goes along his path. Well, the Model T introduced, and now you have to stop. And you got to go and find the station. You got to take one of those newfangled spigots, stick it in the car, and now you have to put fuel in a tank. And oh my gosh, that tank, you're going to be carrying your fuel with you. Well, that took time. And by the way, it didn't take 10 minutes time when it first launched. It took a lot more time. Today, we're expecting the same refueling time for an electric vehicle. 7 minutes, that's how long it takes me to fuel up my car and go 300 miles. Why can't I do it in 7 minutes? Well, that'll take some time to resolve. Today it's 30 minutes to 60 minutes to fill up with a fast charger. But there are ways to optimize that charging and still go in a 7 to 10 minute charge 150 miles, 200 miles. There are technologies being applied today that you can go 250 miles with a 7-minute charge. So technology will resolve the anxiety of charge time. The last one is service, right? So anybody could shod their horse. You go and get a flat tire on your horse, you just put a new horseshoe on, right? Well, when you introduced the Model T, then you had to take it to a shop. That was an anxiety people had. Now I can't take care of my own asset. I have to take it to somebody. Well, we've resolved some of that. But today people are saying, well, my anxiety is I can't take it to a normal service shop. I got to take it to an EV car shop. There's going to be a computer technician working on it. So these 5 anxieties, I believe, have and will be resolved. And I believe that if we can just accept that there will be change, the change is coming, and the change is better, and it actually fixes what I consider 2 things. One is inefficiency. Petroleum vehicles are inefficient. And combustion vehicles are inefficient. Whether natural gas vehicles or internal combustion vehicles, only a portion of the energy in that fuel is really used for motive force. Electric vehicles are much more efficient. The second thing is petroleum vehicles or natural gas vehicles are a one fuel horse. You only have one fuel. If you buy an electric bus, you literally have an adaptable platform. You're not selecting which fuel or what type of electrons you're going to use in that vehicle. If today you have coal, I promise you in 5 years you may have some natural gas, you may add solar on your system. The vehicle is adaptable. It's an adaptable platform for any, whether it's any clean fuel, hydro, solar, wind. There are so many different forms of energy. I predict in the life of a bus purchased in this area, which is 15 years, in 15 years, the energy grid's going to change. And I think it will be cleaner and greener. Electrical platforms allow you to adapt that to cleaner energy almost immediately. And so you have a higher efficiency system. You can literally go for a fifth the cost in fuel with an electric vehicle that it would cost in a regular gasoline vehicle, and the buses are the same. And they're much fewer parts, so much more reliable systems. You've got a battery, in-wheel hub motors. There's no transmission, there's no drivetrain, no clutches, no engine, so you reduce all that part count, you introduce a much more reliable system. And I believe that if you'd follow the approach that BYD is right now, and that is focus on the high utility applications, fixed route busing, urban delivery trucks, taxis that are highly utilized, you see the biggest economic plus, the best rate of return recovery, and finally the best environmental impact, because you're now eliminating fumes from the inner city. You're taking them out of the direct tailpipe emissions are eliminated, and then we can clean up our sources of energy over time, like I talked about. So that's essentially what the entire presentation is about those 5 anxieties, resolving those with technology, adopting more efficient fuel systems, and looking to move to a platform that is adaptable for any energy source. Thank you.